headed towards Safford, went through Globe and other small towns, went through a small town, and I got myself a shredded beef burrito. Very good. It's just got red bell peppers in it and one other thing. It's, yeah, minimal. But as I'm driving and you're going these back areas, we go through those small towns that have, shall we say, seen better days, maybe kind of outliving their existence. And you see that they were constructed, their heydays was way, way back. And the buildings are interesting, but so many of them are closed down. And the town itself is very tiny, but you still have people there, living there, and you wonder what draws people to places like that. Just something I wonder, you know. Now that's kind of what was going on where I bought my burrito. Little town, it looked like, you know, buildings are 100 years old, and most of the town is shut down. But you still have people that are there, and what, you know, why have they wound up in these little towns? I always wonder that. What draws people to these tiny towns? I'm on the Old West Highway is what it says there. Just something that, you know, always piques my curiosity. Sometimes I think it might be fun just to stop at some of these little towns and ask people, you know, what drew you here? How did you wind up in this little town? I think it's interesting, you know, why people make the choices they make. That's another reason, you know, I really like to do the back roads and get off of the freeway system. There's the San Carlos Lake and Recreation Department. So at the moment I'm on 70 East, again headed towards Safford. I don't think I've ever been to Safford, neither have I been to Globe that I just went through. Globe looked like it might be an interesting place to kind of explore. Cultural Museum. Of course, it's a Sunday, very little is open. Why is it always when you're on the road, it's a Sunday, that you run into things that you wish you could see? But of course, it's closed. Recreation and wildlife, I think that's where you have to go to get permission to camp anywhere here. I think this is the San Carlos Apache Reservation area. When I'm out driving that I kind of ruminate over as you're going and you go through these little towns. What caused them to close up? What drew people there originally? Why did the town go through the decline? Why are people still drawn there that live there now? What induced them to move to these little out-of-the-way places that really there are no amenities there, grocery stores, etc. They're going to have to go far to get provisions, etc. One of those things. Another thing, that I thought about doing at one time and I didn't do it, but I think I wish I had, was interviewing people that are like 100 years old and to find out what changes they saw in their life, good, bad, ugly, what lessons they learned, what they think is valuable to pass on to others. I just think that would be a really interesting project. The towns, it was what's the name of it again? Kingman. It's off of Route 66. And it says this guy, Angel, that he was the one that really started the interest in Route 66 and wanting to preserve it. So that's interesting. The guy was a barber. I guess he's still alive. Really getting up there in years now. But he saw the decline of Route 66. So many towns, when they moved the freeway, that the towns were closing down. And so he wanted to try to preserve that. Everybody's in a big rush today. So again, that's another thing of interest. Someone that saw the decline of these places. And maybe that's what happens with a lot of towns. The roadways that are going through there in their towns, these little roadways have been replaced with freeways, faster roadways, and the town just doesn't get enough traffic through it to make it viable anymore, perhaps. That could be. Back to the Sticks and Bricks. Like I said, I have to wait for my ostomy supplies to be finally delivered, and then I'll reorganize things in here, and we'll take off again. Where? I don't know. I don't have an idea yet. I don't know whether we'll go north or we'll go eastwards. Don't really have a big plan for it at the moment. Maybe something will strike me as interesting to go do. I don't know. Maybe visiting some ghost towns or things like that are kind of interesting. And like I said, these little small towns that are almost ghost towns, not quite yet, but they're really headed that direction. I think some of those might be interesting to visit as well, and just see what the history was and what's going on there. I know the one little town that I passed through, well, a couple little towns I passed through, the buildings were quite old, and they look like they might have some interesting tales to tell about that area and people that had lived there and currently live there, and why that town was built, what happened for its decline, and what's drawn the people there that still live there today. I don't know. Is that something that interests anybody else? I think it's kind of something, like I said, I just ponder when I drive through those places. So on that note, I'll leave that here. I'm going to continue to enjoy my drive. And these A-type personalities that are behind just gritting their teeth will continue to go around me. It's not that I'm going really slow. But you know, if the roadway is 65 and you're doing 55, they want to do 75. Yeah. So on that note, I'll leave that here, and we'll see you online.